Hey everybody, my name's Lakin. You're watching Shonen This Week, the show where we read all the stuff in Weekly Shonen Jump, with the exception of a few, and rank them all. If you enjoy, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We're just gonna jump right into it, because why not? We've added Ultimate Exorcist Kiyoshi to the list this week, and I'm pretty confident we'll have Shinobi Undercover and Someone Hurts on this by next week. I'm not going to bother reading anything else. I have no interest in reading Nue's Exorcist, especially after reading Kiyoshi, and I have no interest in reading Me and Roboco, so those ones are probably never going to be featured in here, especially since Nue should be ending soon, I think, so soon enough we'll be catching up. Now, we're just going to go from left to right, because why not? Also, it's been a while since I've seen you guys. There was no WSJ last week. It was kind of sad, but we've got everything back in full force this week. I would put this at probably great tier Sakamoto Days. Listen, the choreography is good. Okay, I've got no complaints about that. We've got Nagumo doing some damage to Uzuki. We got Sakamoto coming back, which everyone knew was going to happen, and potentially Sheen joining the fight soon, as the prophecy foretold. Now, I'm looking forward to it. Ichi the Witch, I would put this at a great tier chapter too. I don't think that's too controversial. We have Gokuraku losing both of his arms. Discaris joins the fight. We learn Hakari? Is that Hakari? That's it, I think, right? Is that what the magic's called? Anyway, we learn his trial. His trial is basically a treasure hunt. Is my webcam delayed? I shouldn't have pointed that out. That's not good. But next, we're going to talk about Kinato's magic. This is just awful. Obviously, the pacing is really quick. And, well, it's over. Yep. Kinato's magic died this week. It got the axe. I'm sorry if you're getting this news from me. But yeah, farewell, soldier. You tried. One thing I will say about Kinato's magic is that the art was absolutely beautiful. I don't know if it's the same person writing the story and the art. If that is the case, I really hope the artist gets another job, and I really hope the person writing the story picks a different profession. But if it's the same person, hey, try again. You can always get it the second time. Let's just try to break the formula a little bit next time, okay? Speaking of breaking the formula, Underdoctor, I'd put this at a great chapter. We just get lots of things about everyone here, especially Shuli, one of my favorite characters in the series. Just a nice slice of life chapter. I don't have many notes on it. There's not much to say. There's not much to analyze. It was just an enjoyable chapter, and Underdoctor is consistently one of the most enjoyable reads of the week to me. Speaking of enjoyable reads, Roku's House of Oddities is going to be another great tier. Just so much in this one, okay? So many good gags, interesting characters. We learn more about the Science Club, and surprisingly, all of these guys are actually distinct. There's a lot of characters in this series, and I don't really have trouble remembering any of them because I feel like they're all given noteworthy personality traits, and that's something that I cannot say about Drawn to the Fire. Do you like how I'm chaining this? I feel like every single character in this series is the exact same, and I foresee the axe for it very soon at the rate it's currently going. They win the game, it seems like they're about to. These guys just can't stop winning. I really hope they suffer a loss soon, because I feel like that's kind of needed in any sports manga. And that's all I have to say about that. If I say anything else, I'm just going to sound like a broken record to my previous videos, right? Akane Banashi. We learn a lot about Zensho here. It turns out he's just been falling upwards the whole time. He's trying to do this seriously. He has no idea why everybody's laughing at him, but it was good, and it kind of made me sympathetic for Zensho and like him more, even more than the last chapter made me like him, and I don't know how I feel about that. As for Animal Signal, this is just a pretty baseline chapter of the series. I thought it was good. We got a new character introduced, but I don't really find her that compelling just yet, but it was a fine chapter. I enjoyed reading it. We're just at the baseline here, nothing special. And similarly for Hal Formula, I feel like this one kind of meandered a bit and didn't really achieve much, especially compared to last week. Last week makes you really think it's going somewhere, and we're about to get a big move this chapter. Well, there is no big move. It does not occur we just kind of meander and get bogged down in a bunch of technical jargon, unfortunately. But even so, I did enjoy reading it. I don't think this series has really had a bad chapter so far, and I'm going to continue my defense in saying that it's the best of this batch here. Other than, are these the same batch? Yeah, I think it came Animal Signal, Hal Formula, Roku's, right? So in that case, I'd have to say Roku's has to be the strongest, right? I don't really know. I can't remember what batches these came in. Oh god. Well, anyway, ignore that. Hal Formula, great manga, really strong. I hope nothing bad happens to it. Now, speaking of manga that are having something bad happen to it, it actually, like, Canon Master is showing some axe signs already. The plot is going at breakneck speed now. We've introduced a second demon, turns out to be an anti-Ur. We're revealed what Ur is. He's a half regolith. We just get all sorts of lore drops, and it kind of feels like, it almost feels like we're moving to like a final confrontation immediately. I told you all when this manga released that I just didn't think it had the sauce necessary and I could foresee the axe in the future, but I definitely did not foresee the axe this soon, because we're only at like chapter 9, I think, and I really would have hoped that it would have been given a chance to make a recovery, but there's a solid shot we see the alien headbutt treatment here, and this thing doesn't even survive to chapter 20, which I will say is a real shame. But whether that is the actual case, we'll see in the coming weeks, because it could just be fast-paced. I mean, you never really know, right? There was insane shit happening in Kagurabachi by chapter 9, right? But I don't know, the breakneck speed lore developments and all these reveals back to back in one chapter, and like a main villain showing up, it does worry me a little bit. Hero Destroyerz, I can't really put it in awful. Like, I'm just gonna put it in mid. I don't know, it was an alright chapter. There was some good comedy here. It seems like next chapter could be better depending on where they go with it, but it's just got so many words in it for a comedy manga, you know what I mean? And speaking of so many words, since I'm doing the chain now, okay, I'm gonna move to Hunter x Hunter now, which I want to put it in great because of what's happening, but I'll put it in good purely because Togashi explains so much stuff here that's already been explained. Like, we already know how Serenik's ability works. You don't need to tell us again, okay? Like, there's so much shit here. Like, he spends half of the chapter explaining his ability, and then the other half just explaining his plans. And I feel like Togashi has completely thrown the art of show don't tell out the window with this one. That being said, I thought the chapter was fine, and I have no complaints about it. Now, we have a couple of chapters here that are going in the absolute cinema tier, and I'll go ahead and spoil it right off the bat. So the manga that are making absolute cinema tier this week are going to be Kagurabachi, Nippon Sangoku, and Centuria. Congratulations to Centuria on 100 chapters, and this is an absolute banger chapter. We're going to go from left to right, though, starting with Nippon Sangoku, which the war on Buo is finally beginning, okay? King Tenma, you know, we get the whole thing with all the armies being divided. We get a nice little bit with Sugo and the son, Tonotsugu, that's the one. Nice little moment between them, and I've really enjoyed their camaraderie, and I've also enjoyed Tonotsugu as a character. Surprisingly, he started off as a little shit, but he's gotten a lot of development, and now he's actually competent, and the fact that he's friends with Sugo, and I can see potential with him helping the good guy cause in the future. Kagurabachi, I would put this in front of Nippon Sangoku. I think this is probably one of the most beautiful chapters in the entire series, and the panels here with the shots of Kunishige's eyes are some of the greatest pieces of paneling I have ever seen. This is just an absolutely heart-wrenching chapter. Banger. No fucking doubt, man. Hokazono's pen is absolutely flaming right now. I cannot wait to read more of this next week. Speaking of shit I can't wait to read more of next week, Centuria, where we find out that Lucas's ability is the ability to cut concepts. He cuts the concept of Void Marcher using her ability, and then he cuts the concept of her being alive and she just drops dead. So yeah, power scalers are going to have a fucking field day with this one, but I must say I am really worried about the implication that this could one-tap Julian and ignore his lives completely, but he's trying to ignore it for now. Now, let's talk about One Piece, which I'm just going to put this at good. Like, I'm not really moved by anything that's going on anymore. I know nobody's in actual danger, and I'm just beyond caring. Now, Kiyoshi, if I were to review this as a series, it's like top of mid tier, and this new chapter was fine. Like, we're introduced to a whole bunch of new, like, generic archetype characters, and I just don't really have much to say about it in the way of analysis, because there is nothing to analyze. Everything in this series plays out exactly the way you think it will. It's actually kind of like One Piece in that way. I don't mean to sound like a hater, but One Piece at this stage is just really, really predictable. I mean, sure, there's some lore stuff that we don't know about, but in terms of how the actual events are playing out in the story, we all know exactly what's going to happen. Maybe Oda can randomly throw us a curveball, but is chapter like 1100 really the time to do that? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that's going to be all from me this week. I just wanted to keep it nice and succinct, you know. If you enjoyed, hit that subscribe button. I do this every week. I love you all, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.